Star vs. the Forces of Evil belongs to Daron Nefcy, Disney Channel, and all other people associated with its creation. Please support Star vs. the Forces of Evil and go buy the Magical Book of Spells. Hello everybody, Raspberry Barrel here, and now we're doing the second part of Comet the Chef's chapter in the Star vs. the Forces of Evil Magical Book of Spells. First year, 150 moons, the era of the comet. This is my first official entry as Queen of Muny. We had a quiet, unremarkable turnover from Mother to me. It was as she wanted it. She doesn't like a lot of attention and is pleased to have some more time to go on a drawing retreat. She probably won't come back. Anyway, in my first act as Queen, I'm making perhaps the boldest move imaginable. After many strained negotiations, and the disdain of all my generals and the Magical High Commission, I have arranged for a boutique hosting with the Monster King, Archduke Batwing. The banquet will be as grand as if it would be if we were hosting diplomats from the Forest of Unlikely Spider Bites or the Underworld. I commissioned the court portress to paint this picture of Archduke Batwing and me, and I've had it distributed throughout the Muny groundlands. I've even commissioned the songstrel guide to write a song about the potential for a more peaceful union, and the winning songstrel will have his piece performed by Muny on the night of the banquet. It goes without saying that this type of meeting is unprecedented. Throughout the entire history of the butterfly family, no queen has attempted this type of negotiation. As an added point of aggravation to the entire kingdom, I will be serving Independence Day pie, a treat we serve once a year to celebrate our reign over the monsters. For this banquet, I am renaming it Peace Day pie, and it will forever be named that so long as we are able to establish an accord with the monsters. The Magical High Commission is particularly concerned with the Svtfoe. They are worried any accord with Batwing will put us in bed with the rebel Septarian factions and could potentially lead to our collapse. I am not afraid of crusty old Svtfoe. The Septarian rebellion is a war of old men, and my accord is the path to the future. Well, if Svtfoe wants to come to the banquet, I may even send him an invite. Ha! I say let them eat pie. Pie of the red Solarency. I adopted this pie from a recipe I learned from my grandma, Selena. It uses the fruit of the red Solarency because there was a corn famine in her time and the Solarency was all that was available. 1 pie crust, blind baked, see earlier. Filling, 1 pound fruit of the red Solarency. On Earth, they call these tomatoes. So yes, this is a real recipe. You can make this pie. Star will tell you the Earth words for the ingredients, and you'll get to learn what they're called on Muny. So let me just restart. Filling. 1 pound fruit of the red Solarency. On Earth, they call these tomatoes. 1 unflowered sprig of the creeping scent grass. Rhyme works just fine. 1 crying dirt pearl, sorted. 1 onion, diced. 2 tablespoons cold unsalted pig goat fat. Butter. 1/4 cup milled wort corn sand. Flour. 2 cups plant soup. Vegetable stock or any old broth. Frown sand and sneeze sand. Salt and pepper. Topping. 1 block of curled pig goat fat. Gruyere cheese. Courteously frightened. Shredded. 1/4 bread sand. Breadcrumbs. Preparation. Dry cook the red Solarency in a pan. Mash them as they cook until they take the texture of porridge. Once the red Solarency is broken down, add the sorted crying dirt pearl. After the crying dirt pearl has become translucent, in a separate pan or a scorching knight's helmet, prepare the milled wort corn sand, unsalted pig goat fat, and plant soup as arroques. Add the cooked red Solarency mixture and the creeping scent grass. Then add frown sand and sneeze sand to taste. Cook on a low frolic for 25 minutes. Ladle 1/4 inch layer of this mixture into the blind baked pie crust. Mix the curled pig goat fat with bread sand and cover the pie with it. Decorate the pie top with slices of solariense and bits of the leftover dough. I always use a butterfly shape for the decoration. See directions on previous page. Bake at 400 degrees for 30 minutes or until pig goat fat is golden and bubbling. Remove from the oven. Sprinkle with some loose creeping scent grass leaves and let cool before slicing. Okay, so perhaps you've tried these pies as a peace offering to your enemy, and though they're delicious, you don't have any success. It's time to leave the kitchen. You're now headed for the battlefield. Here are some spells that may be useful. Nightshade Disarm. This spell will disarm up to 12 marauding adversaries. Say Nightshade as you tilt your wand down with the tilt almost touching the ground. Raise your arm with your wrist bent and rapidly whisk the air in front of your adversaries and say, "Disarm." Your adversaries will fall into a pile atop of one another, at which point you have a flock of razor cranes drag them from the battlefield. Summoning Razor Crane Charm. Lifting your arm up above your head, say, "Summoning Razor," and finish with "Crane Charm" as your wand face touches the ground. Provided you summoned a quality flock of razor cranes, they should know to pick up the disarmed horde and carry them off. Once you've returned from the battlefield, treat your adversaries to a meal of red solariense pie and plenty of ale tea. Independence Day Pie. Note from Star. I tried making this for my Independence Day party. I thought droop sacks were garlic and I almost accidentally added it. Marco ate it anyway. To be nice. Marco after he ate the pie. Bleh. Independence Day Pie. 1 pie crust, blind baked. See earlier. Filling. 2 razor crane male. 2 razor crane ovaries. Eggs. 1/4 cup pig goat fat. Butter. 1½ cups tarred smile sand. Brown sugar. 1 teaspoon scent stick. Vanilla. 1½ cups diced meat of tree stones. Nuts. 4 droop sacks sliced into bite-sized pieces. Figs. Whip pig goat fat and tattered smile sand together in a mixing bowl. Whisk in the ovaries, scent stick, droop sacks, and tree stone meats. Pour mixture into blind baked crust. Bake at 350 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes or until droop sacks become golden and caramelized. First year, 160 moons, the era of the comet. I just got off the mirror phone with Archduke Batwig, and he and his, wife are quite excited to be the first monsters invited to the grand banquet hall in Butterfly Castle this weekend. I quite like Batwig. We chuckle about how my invitation to Seth went unanswered. Batwig is just so much more gentle than the strange and bankrupt Giddo Advarius before him. In fact, I worry he may be a little too soft for his role. Even though Seth is a dried-up, crusty old gecko, Batwig is still going to have some grit to stand up to him. Despite my conviction that Seth's position is an old, decaying one, it has become attractive to some of the younger septarians, which I suppose in some cause may concern. And now a note from Glossaric. Welp, this is the final entry. She never wrote down her recipe for pudding pie, my favorite. Sorry about the tears. The nice thing about tears is that they dry eventually. And we see a picture of Glossaric. And that is the end of Comet the Chef's chapter. So I guess maybe it was at this banquet with King Batwig that Seth ordered Toffee to go kill Comet. And we do meet King Batwig in the show, in the Battle for Muny movie. This speaks about how basically Ludo's family, they were the royalty that Crescenta set up, his family, and then they wasted all their money on the scratch and sniff, and so Batwig's family was put in charge, and then sort of Ludo's family is still monster royalty. They're just maybe not the rulers of all monsters anymore. Or maybe they eventually got their power back and continue to do the scratch and sniff. Comet's chapter is really nice because it has a lot of nice recipes. And, you know, she's like the first queen that tries to make peace with the monsters. She's done with all this craziness and just wants to be friends with the monsters and to stop all the fighting. It's really sad that she died. She brings up how Moon is going to play the song for the Peace Day pie or whatever. And the song about the banquet that's like peace between monsters and humans. So, you know, maybe at that time, Moon didn't hate the monsters all that much. It was only until one of them killed her mom that, you know, Moon started to really hate these monsters. And it talks about how she's going to perform this, so it kind of gives us a hint. Hey, Moon kind of knows how to play the guitar. So, yeah. Comet's chapter is really nice. She's being nice to everyone. And in, like, every single picture we ever see of Comet, she's always with Moon. In her tapestry, in her photo, in Battle for Muny, and even on her trading card sort of thing. And the beginning of her chapter. There's never a picture, basically, of Comet without her with baby Moon, or, you know, just somehow Moon. So yeah, Comet's chapter was really nice, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it. I guess this is it. Now we're getting to Moon and Star, and then the last little bit of Glossaric, and then we'll be done. I hope you all have been enjoying these. Star versus the Forces of Evil and the Magical Book of Spells belong to Daron Nefcy, Disney Channel, and all other people associated with its creation. Please go support Star versus the Forces of Evil and go buy the Magical Book of Spells. Thanks, bye!